majesty of being a part of a story that's way beyond your own, the usefulness of characters that are way beyond the universe, the beauty of a ride that tells a story indefinitely. Thank you for my Logan story. My name is Logan Shaw, and today we'll be covering in this historical over context of Disneyland rides, Millennium Falcon, a Smugglers Run. Thank you for coming. Let's get into it.
Star Wars Millennium Falcon Smugglers Run is a motion simulator attraction based on the Star Wars film series created by George Lucas. Located in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, the attraction opened on May 31st, 2019 in Disneyland, and opened on August 29th, 2019 in Disney's Hollywood Studios.
Okay, so the ride in itself seems something bigger than what Disney can actually do on a grand scale, in a personalized way, especially in terms of this ride. It's a personalized way to see a ride, and definitely that comes with the obstruction of being a part of something that's bigger than ever before. The thing is, the reason why I use bigger than ever before so much in Disneyland rides is because they are bigger than ever before. The project worked on by hand of such talented Imagineers that put it together in order to make it bigger than ever before. Smugglers Run takes that cake in terms of it turning it upside down and rearranging it, turn it right back side up. The thing is, the ride is so based on an actual venture of a Millennium Falcon through the corsets of dark linear space. In terms of a Star Wars, what would happen if you were in the ride? What would happen if you were in the Millennium Falcon in itself? What would you do? What would be the greystone of matter coming with it? And what would that imply about what we see now in terms of a Millennium Falcon ride? See, the ride starts out with a certain character and control of many of what the whereabouts of the Millennium Falcons has to deal with. And that character ends up moving along the story, making you go on a mission to get, well, what's important to the Millennium Falcon in itself. And that will be the respiratory for the rest of the story. Because the thing is, when you go on with something you're venturing towards, that thing is what we can all agree upon, and the story of matter in terms of what is featured inside the entirety of the Millennium Falcon Smugglers Run. And that entirely faces the subject matter of what we can talk about in terms of, well, let's go into detail. So in detail, we can see the ride for what it is. It's a magical ride. It's a space adventure ride. It's something we've always wanted to be a part of. Everyone young and old has ever guessed what it'd be like to be a part of a Smuggler's Run on the Millennium Falcon. And that being said, it's something beautiful nonetheless. It's something technologically advanced. It's something we can all look upon and say, wow, I just went on the Millennium Falcon. And that's the teeter-totter to what we understand about this ride. It's the beauty of knowing what we could desire and knowing what the adventure is and having a set goal towards that adventure. See, the thing is, when you're going into Star Wars land, you want to experience everything that you know from Star Wars. From the Stormtroopers to the Jedis, from the smugglers to the bounty hunters. Everything that you know now as Star Wars is coming to a fruitional change every single time. In fact, they're inviting new characters to come to the mix in Star Wars land. That is a big change. It's a more predicated change to what we understand about Star Wars. Adding new characters to meet the demand of the people who go there on a daily basis in California, of course. But the thing is, that's not all we know about Star Wars. That's not all we know about what we can see inside the Star Wars realm. Millennium Falcon is the statuette to what holds Star Wars land indefinitely. It's more like an icon. The Millennium Falcon Smugglers Run. You can do whatever you want to do in Star Wars land, but you gotta do this ride, because this ride will change your life. Now here's the thing. What does that all mean for you and I? What can we take away in terms of something that is so indefinitely charged as Millennium Falcon Smugglers Run? Well, application, of course. You decided to ride Smugglers Run, and your imagination soared for the best of it, no matter what age you are. See, the thing is, being the age of what you can account for in terms of what you have to take a responsibility for doesn't matter when you're in Disneyland. Of course, you spend the money and you spend the time making the money to go to Disneyland. When you finally get there and you see the advancements that are all interplaying, from the Fantasyland to the Tomorrowland to the Star Wars Land, you see it all for what it's worth. And here's the thing, the reward for you: get on Millennium Falcon Smugglers Run and ride that thing to the best of its abilities. Because that's part of a chapter that's never going to close. That's part of a chapter that's always going to be in remembrance. And Disney knows that. A lot of the things that are old and, well, what would be called, vintage, are old and vintage and still living to this day. Some of it's been stolen, some of it's been reimbursed, some of it's been in the lining of storage and the Disney company. But the big picture I want you to understand from this is that this ride, Smugglers Run, is an example of what the Magistry of Imagination can do, and what the Magistry of Imagination can do for you. And the imagination is something freewheeled in terms of something we can all benefit from at the end of the day. That's something that was nothing before seen. That's something we can all benefit from in some case or another. Because here's the thing, when you get on a ride at Disneyland, when you get on a ride at Disney World, or any of the Disney parks around the world, the job is to make you escape a world that's always going to be there, the reality. And the thing is about Disneyland, and why I love it so much, is that because it does that. It gets you out of the world and puts you in a new one, such as Millennium Falcon Smugglers Run. Thank you for my application, and let's continue forward. Thank you for my little story. Thank you for the struggle with contacted Disneyland rides. There are more rides in the future, so keep an eye out for those. Also, the mission is 1,000 subscribers. You guys know me, get the button, the share, like, and subscribe button right on the screen. Also, button the bell. Leave a comment if you can too. Check out my Patreon if you can. If you follow, it's free. Thank you again, and peace.
Thank you for coming to Logan's Story. Consider sharing, subscribing, and liking. That will really help. Thank you again, and peace again, guys.